In this lecture, we are going to start with a new topic, an important topic, that is ER model to relational model conversion. Means how to convert a given ER diagram to the equivalent tables. Okay, so this topic is very important from examination, university examination point of view, and also from the competitive examination point of view, because in GATE and NET you must be facing such type of problem where you are given with an ER diagram and you have to find out the number of tables corresponding to that ER diagram or the possible tables for that corresponding ER diagram. Okay, and also this topic is going to help you a lot with your projects and in whenever you are going with in the field for your with any organization. So you must be needing this topic because every time you need to convert ER diagrams to equivalent tables for implementation, right? Secondly, first thing first, so for this topic to understand this topic, you need to be familiar with the concepts of entity, relationships, and what are the mapping cardinalities and what are the participation cardinalities. If you are not familiar with these terms, then please go and watch the lecture number 10, 11 and 12 first before starting with this lecture. Okay, so starting with this lecture, in this lecture, firstly we need for every ER diagram we have two things. Mainly every ER diagram is having a lot of entities and many relationships that are relating those entities. Okay, so how to convert a given entity to the equivalent table. Okay, so for every given entity the rules are: create a new table, create table for each entity and attributes of each entity will form the fields of the table. For example, here and last, you also need to declare the primary key of the table. So the primary key will be the underlined attribute of the entity. Next, for example, the table corresponding to this entity is here student is a strong entity set because we are having a primary key attribute in this entity. Okay, so as this entity is having a primary key attribute, so this is a strong entity, and for a strong entity we just convert every attribute to the equivalent field of the table. So here the table name is student, right, and every attribute as name, class, roll number and subject will become the fields or the columns of the table. So this is the simple conversion for any given entity. Next we have how to convert the relationship. Okay, so relationships are relating two entities, or if we are having n-ry relationship, means more than two entities can also be involved in a relationship. So here this is a binary relationship. We are talking about binary relationship first, and in binary relationship we have two entities, one is student and another is course. Here the and relationship is also having two attributes, means here the marks and the joining date. So these two attributes are not part of the student entity and also not part of the course entity. So these attributes belong to this relationship. So enrolled relationship is responsible to store the value of these two attributes. So in such situation, the very simple approach is to create table for two entities, for both entities. So first table will be created for the student and the second table will be created for the course, right? Next we have to create table for this relationship because we have to store the relationship attributes as well. So and also we need to relate student and course entity. So to relate these two entities we need to create a table corresponding to the relationship. Okay, for this table, for relationship table, we need to add primary keys of all the participating entities as fields of the table. Okay, third step is to add attributes of the relationship attributes as field of the table. Next, declare the primary key as a combination or as a composition of primary keys of the participating entities and declare them as foreign key in the relation table, because they cannot be individually act as the primary key, but they both combined can form a primary key for the relationship table. Okay, so for this given relationship we must be having one table for this student, second table for the course, and third table for this enrolled relationship. So here is the table for enrolled relationship. So this table is for this relationship enrolled. Okay, so the table is having the primary key of first entity, that is student entity, as roll number. So roll number is here. Next, second participating entity is course. So the key of primary key of second participating entity is also become one of the field of the relationship table, and also the fields of the relationship are also the forming the attributes of the table. So this is the way how we convert a given relationship to equivalent table. Now for this table, roll number and CID are the foreign keys because they are primary key of the individual entity. So student roll number is primary key here and CID is primary key here, but they combined as a in the composition they combined are forming the primary key. They are forming the primary key of the relationship table, right? So this is the way to this is the rule, and these are the rules to convert the relationship to equivalent table. Here this complete ER diagram will be having three tables, one for student, one for course, and one for the relationship. But in many cases we can reduce the number of tables, or we can manage these conversion process in a better way using the mapping cardinalities and the participation constraints. Okay, so we can optimize this operation. So for optimization of this problem, for these this conversion process, we have seven steps. As firstly, we need to convert the strong entities, and how to convert the weak entities. So these are the rules that that match with any situation, any of the situation, and you can directly apply these rules, and after applying these rules your ER diagram will be converted to equivalent table. So next, conversion of one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, many-to-many relationship. So cardinalities are only one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. We have covered all the cardinalities in rule number 3, 4 and 5. Further, rule 3 is also having the division of 3 rules based on the participation constraint. So that will be covered in next in further slides. So next we have conversion of n-ray relationship, because n-ray means if we are having more than 2 entities participating in a relationship, so we call it n-ray relationship. If we are having 3 participating entry, then it is ternary relationship. If we are having 4, and so on. So for all those, same rule will be followed by rule number 6. Last we have conversion of multi-valued attribute. So if we have an attribute that is multi-valued, then how to convert that multi-valued attribute to equivalent table. So these rules are for the binary relationship. Okay, but for converting n-ray relationship means if we are having more than 2 entities participating in the relationship, then we are having rule number 6. So starting with the first rule, this is very simple, that we have already covered. For a given strong entity set, we just need to convert we can directly create the table. So here the table name is employee. Table name is employee because employee is a strong entity set with SSN as a primary key. So just convert all the attribute to the fields of the table. Okay, so here birth date, address, salary, so they are directly forming the fields of the table, but and the primary key will be same. So this is the primary key of the resulting table, but here the name is a composite attribute. So name is a composite attribute. So break the composite attribute into simple attributes and create them. So here we will not be taking name as one of the field of the table, we need to have first name, middle name and the last name, because we need to store 3 values, not 1 value. If name is a composite attribute, then we are storing first name, middle name and last name. We are not storing name. Okay, so whenever required, we need we can merge these 3 fields for a complete name, but in database we are storing them separately. So we have to create one entry for first name, one entry for middle name and one entry for the last name. So composite attributes are converted to their further subfields. Next we have conversion of weak entity. So this we have already covered in the introductory lectures of the conversion process. So for conversion of weak entity set, as weak entity sets are not having their they are not strong entity set, means they are not having any attribute that is a primary key. So for conversion, they are depending on the, or they can be identified using the primary key of the strong entity set. Okay, so that is connecting with involved in the relationship with the weak entity. So here we are having dependent as a weak entity and employee as a strong entity. So this relationship, this weak entity relationship is having 2 entities involved in the relationship. One is employee, that is strong entity, and dependent is a weak entity. So for converting a weak entity set, so we will be having one table corresponding to this employee. Definitely we are going to have one table corresponding to this employee. And for the dependent table, now how to convert this dependent table, dependent entity to equivalent table? For conversion, we have to take care of, we have to identify each row of the dependent table using the primary key of the strong entity. So here the strong entity is employee, so we will be using this primary key, as the primary key is SSN. So we will be using this SSN to identify each row of the dependent or weak entity. Okay, so here we can say that we are having name as a partial key, because name, we are taking that name is identifying a dependent. Okay, but names are not necessarily unique. Okay, so we need a strong entity or a primary key to identify each dependent. For example, I am having 2 dependents. Okay, so I am an employee and I am having 2 dependents with different names. Okay, but then their names may match with the dependents of any other employee. Okay, so for identification of each and every dependent uniquely, we need to merge every row with the corresponding SSN ID or the employee ID. Okay, so here we are taking all the attribute directly. So all the attributes are taken directly as field of the table, and the dependent name here, the dependent name is the partial key of the weak entity. But to identify each and every dependent uniquely, we are taking the primary key of the strong entity set. So here the primary key of the strong entity set is SSN. So by doing this, the combination of these 2 fields becomes the primary key, composite primary key for this table, right? So here the primary key is SSN and dependent name. So they both are combined, they both are able to uniquely identify each and every row of the dependent or the weak entity. So this is the rule to convert a weak entity. Just take the primary key of the strong entity set in the table. Okay, to form the composite key with the partial key of the weak entity. Next, here this foreign key, SSN is acting as a foreign key because SSN is primary key here. So SSN cannot be the primary key here, but yes, SSN can be the foreign key here, because we cannot store the information of dependents whose for a person that is not an employee. Okay, so to store the information of dependent, the person must be an employee. Okay, and so we are getting the employee's information from this stored primary key SSN only. Next we have conversion of one-to-one relationship. By one-to-one relationship we mean that as we are talking about binary relationship, means two entities are involved in the relationship. So for example, here we have one entity as employee and the next entity as a second entity as a department. So they are linked through the relationship managers. So this is the manager and department relationship. So every department can have maximum of one manager, and from this entity also one employee can manage only one department, means one employee can be manager of only one department only. Two employee cannot participate in the relationship in the same relationship here, as E3 is participating in R1 and R1 is linked with D1. So we can say that E3 is a manager of D1. So E3 cannot be linked with any other relationship. So cardinality is representing the maximum participation. So as this is one-to-one relationship, because maximum participation from this side, from first entity side, is 1. Maximum participation is 1. Okay, but here on department side also the maximum participation of each entity in the relationship is also 1. So we can say that here the cardinality is 1 to 1, because maximum participation from each side is 1. Two entity cannot participate in, or one entity cannot participate in more than one relationship. So participation is 1 to 1. Now there are three possible approaches on the basis of the participation constraints. So this is the cardinality constraint. So 1 to 1 cardinality can have three cases on the basis of participation constraints. So here the participation can be by participation we mean that the minimum participation. So by cardinality we mean the maximum participation. By participation constraint we mean the minimum participation. So here the participation can be partial on both sides. Okay, and second, the participation can be partial on one side and total on the other side. Okay, or on either side we have one as a total participation and one as a partial participation, and third case is total participation on both sides. So these are the cases that we need to consider under one-to-one relationship. So first case is one-to-one cardinality with partial participation on both sides. So if we are having partial participation on both sides, means the participation is not mandatory, optional. So for such cases we can break the relationship. We are having a relationship with two entities involved in the relationship. So for such cases we can break the for simple rule we can break the relationship and entity into equivalent 3 tables, but we can also optimize if we are having partial participation on both sides. So for this case either E1 or E2, or E2, as we are having two entities as E1, E2. So either entity can include the primary key of other entity as a foreign key. So both options are available. Either we can go with E1 to include the primary key of E2, or we can go with E2 to include the primary key of E1. Okay. So cardinality with partial participation on both sides can be minimized to 2 relations only. So in here instead of 3 we can get 2 relations. So here is an example. For example, we have the entity E1 and another entity as E2, and this relationship is also having some of the attributes. So the simple formula was to directly have one table for E1, one table for relationship and one table for E2. So this table is going to have the ID of both participating entities and the attribute of the relation also. Okay, but now for the sake of simplicity, or to convert this type of relationship into equivalent tables, we can have 2 tables, as either we can involve E2 with E1 or we can involve E1 with E2. So both options are available. So first option is this. If we are having we are adding E2 to E1. So first option is if we are going from adding primary key of E2 to E1. So tables are E1's key, here we have E1 key and the E1's attribute. Okay, so these are the simple attributes of E1. Now we have to add the primary key of E2. So here is the primary key of E2 and all the attributes of relation, if there are attribute of relation. So here is the attribute of the relation, right? So this is the simple way to convert one-to-one cardinality with partial participation on both sides. Here E2's ID will be the foreign key. So here this E2's ID will be the foreign key and E1's ID will be the primary key. So primary key is E1 ID because this is E1 table and the foreign key is E2's ID, and E2's table is same without any change. So E2's table will be used as it is. Okay, so this is the first option, and the second option is if we are adding E1's primary key to E2. Okay, then in that case, as we are adding E1 primary key to E2, so E1's table will be same. So here we are having same table as E1 with E1 ID and at all the attributes of E1 and E2's table. Now we need to add E1 ID to E2 table and all the attributes of the relation to E2 table. Now this is the foreign key and the primary key is same, E2 ID. Okay, so these both options are available. Either we can go with first option or we can go with second option, right? And the second case is with one-to-one cardinality is if we are having the total participation on one side. If we are having total participation on one side, then we have to change the rule. Okay, now we cannot have two options because in last scenario we were having partial participation on both sides. Now we are having total participation on one side, so we need to go with the total participation side. Okay, so we will be going with total participation side only. So other entities table is going to be the same, and now as we are having total participation on E2 side, so we have to add E1's primary key to E2. So this is going with the second option only. Here E1 table is same. Now we are adding E1 key to E2 table and all the attributes of the relation, if there are attribute with the relation. So these attributes are added here and the E1 keys is added as a foreign key here. So E1's key will become the foreign key and the primary key is E2's ID and foreign key is E1's ID. So this is the only option for this. Next case is if we are having total participation on both sides, means total participation with one-to-one cardinality means that the minimum participation is 1, also the maximum participation is also 1. Okay, so if you are not clear with these concepts, please go through the previous lectures for this. So the minimum total participation means minimum and maximum both participation are 1, means exactly one entities are participating from both side. Okay, so in this relation E1's entity, only one E1's entity is participating and only one E2's entity, exactly one participating entity is participating in the relationship. So for such scenario we can construct only one table for the entire entity, for all the entities and the relationship. So here we have two entities, one is E1 and another is E2 and the relation R. Okay, and we are having total participation on both sides with relationship is having two attributes. So the simple form is first table for E1, relationship table and the E2's table. Okay, but we can optimize this or we can convert this to equivalent one table only as this. Now this table is going to have the key or the complete field of both the tables and also the attributes of the relationship. So this is the resulting table if we are having one-to-one cardinality with total participation on both sides, means maximum participation is 1, minimum is also 1. So we can construct one table. Now the primary key for this table is going to be E1 ID and E2 ID. Next we have the conversion. So for the rules are very easy. So for converting many to one relationship, one to many or many to many many to one or one to many relationship. And for such type of relationship, we have to go with many side only, like we were going with the total participation side. If we are having at least one side with the total participation, then we were going with the total participation. Same way, now we have to go with the many side of the relationship to include one side as a foreign key. So here we are having one on this side and many on this side. So simple conversion is here, like total participation on one side. So now we will be having two tables, two resulting table only, with evens table as same, because E1 is having one cardinality and here the E2 is having many cardinality, so we have to go with many side. Now E1's ID will be included as a foreign key, and also the relationship attributes are included into the E2 table. Now E1's primary key will be E2's ID. Now E1's ID become the foreign key in this table. So this is very simple conversion. Just go with the many side and two tables are the resulting tables. Next we have conversion of many to many relationship. So if we are having many on both side, now the problem is we cannot go on either side because we have many on both side. So for such problems or such type of relationship, it is we need not to think for either go with E1 or to E2. We need not to go to E1 side, we need not to go to E2 side, because we are having many on both side. Okay, so for such cases, just create three tables, one for the E1 and second for the E2 and third for the relation R. So this is very simple conversion. We just going with the relationship table, entities table, and the relationship table is going to include the primary key of both participating entity, and this will form the composite key of the relation table. Okay, so and individually they are the foreign key. So E1 ID is foreign key here, E2 ID is foreign key here, but they combine are forming the primary key of this table, of this relationship table. Next we have conversion of Henry relationship. So Henry relationship are also similar to the previous case. For all Henry relationship, we just need to create separate table for each and every participating entity and also for the relationship. So here for Henry relationship, we are having one entity as the supplier and one entity as project, one entity as part, and supply is the relationship that is relating these three entities. So just create three tables, three separate table to represent each entity. So this is the supplier table with primary key as same as the entity, as all are the strong entities here, because all are having the keys. So here project ID is a key, supplier ID is a key, this part ID is also key, although it is not underlined here, but yes, it's a primary key. So just create separate table for each and every entity, and now create last table for this relationship as supply table with IDs of primary keys of all the participating entities, supplier ID, part ID, project ID, and the attribute of the relationship as quantity. So quantity will be included here and all the keys are included here. So this is very simple conversion. In the last rule we have conversion of multi-valued attribute. So how to convert a multi-valued attribute for a strong entity. Here employee is a strong entity with SSN as the primary key and phone number as a multi-valued attribute, because one employee can have multiple phone numbers. For example, one employee is having 2 phone numbers, 3 phone numbers. Then for every phone number we need to repeat all the entries of the employee table. For example, if we have to store the 2 phone numbers here, so here if we want to store 2 phone numbers here, then we have to make 2 attribute as area code and the phone number. Okay, and if we want to store 2 phone number corresponding to one employee, 4 phone numbers corresponding to second employee, then we have to repeat all these fields 2 times to store 2 phone numbers, and we have to repeat all these fields 4 times to store 4 phone numbers. Okay, so this is not a better approach to repeat all these fields just to store a phone number. So better approach is to go with a separate table for the multi-valued attribute with the primary key of for the strong entity. So here we have the second table, or the table for the multi-valued attribute with primary key of the strong entity and the composite attributes of the multi-valued attribute. Here phone number is also composite attribute because it is composed of area code and the phone number. So this is the option how we can convert a multi-valued attribute. Here if we have only one field, then we will be storing SSN and phone number only. Here area code is also there because phone is a composite attribute. So this is the option. So thanks for now. Next we will be starting with the algebra operation, union, select and projection, etc. in the next lecture, and how to perform joins, equijoin, outer join, etc. we will be covering in further lectures. So bye for now. Thank you.